Today, we're talking about the bus station debate. Philly's got new proposals on a permanent terminal. Breathe, Philly. That's the city's latest initiative to monitor air quality. And we take a look into how much money Governor Josh Shapiro is spending on security. So much is happening in the city and the state, so we had to do a show going through it all. It's Monday, February 23rd. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Happy Monday, Matt.
Happy Monday to you, Trenae.
Joining me this week at the Filler Club is CityCast Philly executive producer Matt Katz. Switching it up a little bit.
Yeah, a little roundup on a Monday. Why not?
Why not? So over these past few years, we've been talking about the bus station debate. The bus station for intercity travel, right? This is like riding the Greyhound. The Greyhound station that was on Filbert Street had closed a few years ago, in part because, remember the Sixers arena plan?
Right.
But Greyhound also changed its model in how it was doing service. It was going away with like stations in like an actual building and doing more like curbside pickups. Well, then the Greyhound station moved to 7th and Market Streets. But what happened was there were no bathrooms for people to go to. There wasn't any like food options. And so people like travelers were really suffering from like hot temperatures, cold temperatures, rain. They then decided to move the station to Northern Liberties.
How'd that go?
Not well, because this was in front of businesses who had an influx of traffic, an influx of people asking to use their bathrooms because there weren't any bathrooms.
Right.
Last year, we spoke with some of the business owners that have been impacted by the temporary bus stop. This is what Natalie McNeil, the owner of Ends Hair Design, had to say.
No parking for the clients. The homeless people are, trying to come into the salon. The bus people are trying to come into the salon. So now we have had to put a lock on our door, and we keep the door locked. And we also have had to install blinds so that people can't see straight through. And the 38 years that I've been in business, I've never had blinds on my windows, ever. But because of the unsavory characters that come sometimes with the inner city buses, it's a lot to be desired.
The city did kind of step in at times throughout this kind of debate, put like temporary bathrooms, but it just really wasn't enough or like adequate.
Right.
So a few weeks back, the city had a new plan, and that plan is to reopen the Greyhound station on Filbert Street.
Temporarily
with some improvements. There will be a bathroom and a building for people to go into.
Right.
So they're not getting rained on it's not too hot.
Right. And they're calling this an interim bus station.
Right. So the news now is that there are proposals for a more permanent station for the intercity bus terminal.
Great.
What a storied history.
Yeah, right? It's such a saga for a simple thing, right?
For a simple thing. Okay, so Billy Penn reports that the Department of Planning and Development reviewed over 280 location ideas.
Wow.
I can't even imagine that. People had that many ideas of where to put the bus station?
Yeah, one of them was your front stoop.
Listen, to me, it seems like the obvious place is to put it near 30th Street. And that is one of the locations.
Yeah.
A parking lot at 2931 Arch Street. Close to 30th Street, close to Amtrak, close to SEPTA, Market Line. The other location is a parking garage that's owned by PennDOT and PPA at 1500 Vine Street. So this is kind of like when you're coming off of Vine Street, off of 76, kind of like near the old Hahnemann Hospital area.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem...
It doesn't.
It seems strange because how would you get to that location if you were at 30th Street, or it's like to cross Vine Street is already kind of scary.
Right. There seems like too much is going on over there. You're basically talking about like a highway overpass area. It doesn't seem... It seems too busy.
Yeah. Another potential site is the 700 block of Arch Street near the African American Museum. This is another property owned by the city and the Parkway Corporation.
Mm-hmm. And that's because the African American Museum is relocating to the Parkway at some point in the future. And then that's where the bus station could go. That's not a bad choice, I don't think.
It's not a bad choice. It's in the vicinity of Chinatown that has like food options.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully there would be, if they're doing like curbside pickup, hopefully there is going to be a permanent like public bathroom available for people.
For sure. I also, though, like what you like. I like having a near 30th Street station. I mean, you can accommodate Center City and University City. It's more central from a city perspective, lots of SEPTA options nearby. So that does seem to make the most sense. You have this like hub of transportation right there.
Or just keep it at Filbert.
Yeah.
If you're going to be spending money anyway for these improvements, just keep it there. And it's like already built for you.
Totally.
Wouldn't that make sense?
100%. I mean, there's logistical issues involving like reconfiguring roads and highways and getting approvals from stakeholders under any of these proposals. But we need to get these people out from the rain and cold. We need to give them a comfortable place to sit. We need to give them a place to go potty, give them a place to get a cup of coffee and a sandwich. So basic stuff. It doesn't have to be some ornate palace, but something for people who are taking the bus. I mean, bus transportation is the cheapest way of getting around the country. And so this is certainly a class issue. We need to accommodate people who can't afford to drop 3 figures on a one-way Amtrak ticket to New York,
For real. I was one of those super commuters.
Yep.
I used everything. I used Greyhound. Well, no, I didn't use that. I used the Flix bus when that was, I don't know if that's still around. Greyhound, Amtrak, New Jersey Transit, SEPTA. I used it all.
Hitchhike?
No.
The Flix bus is still around.
Oh, okay.
And
one time I literally picked it up behind like Madison Square Garden in New York. I was the only one on the bus.
What?
It was just me and the bus driver all the way to Philly.
That's wild.
I know.
Did you talk to the bus driver?
No, I don't want to distract him. There's also a meeting to get public input on the bus station proposals next Wednesday at the Independence Visitor Center that is located at 599 Market Street. And this meeting is going to be happening from 6 to 8 p.m. There's also an online survey that is linked in our show notes. And you can also send an email with your feedback to busstation@phila.gov. We've got more news after this break. If you're still looking for the perfect winter night out, now is your chance to check out Independence Blue Cross River Rink Winterfest on the Delaware River waterfront. For a limited time, enjoy 30% off fire pits and cozy cabin rentals Monday through Thursday. That means warm fires, twinkling lights, ice skating under the stars, and your own private space, all for less. With the Ben Franklin Bridge lighting up the night sky behind you, it's perfect for those midweek date nights. Hang out with friends or one last family winter memory before the season ends. But you have to act fast. Winterfest closes March 1st. Reserve your skating tickets, fire pits, and cabins now at riverrink.com. You're going to start noticing these small solar-powered boxes popping up around the city. 76 of them, to be exact. Yep. I like that.
Yeah.
And these are devices to monitor the city's air quality.
They're going to be monitoring 2 common air pollutants, fine particle matter and nitrogen dioxide. And eventually they're going to add sensors to measure ozone.
I have no idea of like nitrogen dioxide. I thought pay attention to carbon monoxide, right?
I don't know what that is.
Carbon monoxide, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I have one of those detectors, but it's like, I don't know.
I mean, it's essentially, these are, I think, chemicals in the air that can make at-risk populations sick. Medically vulnerable people should stay inside if these pollutants are prevalent in the air in that particular day. And I never really thought much at all about air quality until the last few years. You had that South Philly refinery fire.
Yep.
Which stunk up the whole town. And then the Canadian wildfires over the last couple of years.
That was wild.
That prompted us to get air filters in the house.
Yes.
And it's really smelled. I got, my throat started itching. And that's when I started noticing air quality is an issue, and the city is taking it seriously. They say these monitors are now up across the city. So wherever you are within 1.5 miles of a monitor. And we can go to...
I went to phila.gov/breathe Philly.
Yeah.
That's the initiative, Breathe Philly.
Let's check it out right now. I mean, I'm at the site. We're at the Fitler Club. So you can go in here and you can put in where you are, your address. I just put in Fitler Club. We're in Center City. And it just came up. And our air quality currently is moderate. And the US EPA, it was measured 66 minutes ago, and it is a yellow. The main pollutant is PM 2.5, which is fine inhalable particles with diameters less than 2.5 micrometers. Small enough to penetrate deep into the lungs and bloodstream. So it's the health recommendations here are that sensitive individuals should limit prolonged outdoor activities. Everyone else can enjoy outdoor activities as usual. And it says if you feel symptoms like coughing or shortness of breath, take a break indoors.
I like the emoji.
Yeah, the emoji is
the emoji's
straight,
meh.
It's like a straight mouth.
Okay, this is great. However, what is the city going to do to maybe clean up the air quality?
Right.
I think that is kind of the bigger question. Are they encouraging us to mask up when the sensors say, quality's getting bad? I also argue, could planting more trees be something that if we see, would that, help bring these numbers to a more smiling emoji face? I don't know.
Having a more robust public transportation network in which people don't always have to use cars would be helpful.
Would this change how you walk around Philly?
It wouldn't in the short term. But if I did have a small child and the monitor did indicate that it was in after we're currently in yellow here, if it was in orange or red or purple, which gets into the hazardous range, and I maybe had a toddler, maybe I walk into daycare, maybe I put a mask on me and my baby. Maybe I encourage my elderly parents to put on a mask when they're walking outside to go food shopping that day. So I do think it would. I don't think it would alter my behavior in terms of keeping me in the house, but masking up could certainly help for sure. What about you?
When the Canadian wildfires happened, it was just hurry up and go inside.
Yeah.
Because again, what could be done to clean up the air? That's the question.
Yeah. I think with this information, it makes us more aware of air quality, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then hopefully public policy can follow in a way that improves air quality in the future.
And I hope quickly, though.
That's true. I know that does take a long time for policies to address the needs of the people, doesn't it?
2-a-day trash days. Took a long time. Getting a speed bump added to your block takes a long time.
Getting a bus terminal
takes a long time. All right, we've got more news after the break.
This is such an interesting story to me, what we're going to talk about next, because it touches on so many hot button issues. Political violence, the way our tax dollars are spent, ethics in government, and the Pennsylvania gubernatorial race.
This is all your favorites.
These are all my favorite things. These are the things as I fall asleep at night, that I dream about. So this is a story about Governor Josh Shapiro and money he is spending to make security improvements at his personal home over in Abington in Montgomery County.
Okay.
The backdrop of this is last April, as we know, an intruder entered the governor's mansion in Harrisburg while Shapiro and his family were sleeping. They were all staying there during the Passover holiday. Mm-hmm. This man was trying to set fire to the home. He did set fire to the home, and he was trying to kill Shapiro and whoever else he may have encountered. The man pleaded guilty to attempted murder. It was believed that he had anti-Semitic motivations. And as a result of that, the governor's mansion got all of these security upgrades because it really was unfathomable that someone could, one single person
penetrate that security.
Right.
Yes.
With the kind of protection that the governor has could do something like that.
Right.
So clearly there were problems in the security infrastructure there. So they spent tax dollars to improve the security situation at the governor's mansion. And, I think that's all well and good. However, Shapiro doesn't always stay at the governor's mansion. He also apparently still uses his home in Abington, just outside of Philly. And so the state police quietly approved security upgrades also at the personal home. And not just like a new alarm. It was $1 million in security upgrades.
Like what kinds of upgrades?
The upgrades were $311,000 for a security system, $81,000 for tree trimming, plus another $288,000 for landscaping and maintenance.
Are these golden trees?
Yeah, it's such an eye-popping figure, and we're on the hook for it. I mean, these are tax dollars to essentially make improvements at his personal home.
Now, wait a minute. We are a bunch of city people that don't have land.
Right.
So, I mean, is this like, kind of help me to understand this.
Right.
This is like ridiculous numbers, right?
It does seem ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure he has got a nice sized property, but still,
$81,000.
The problem when one of the issues when you're not spending your own money and you're using somebody else's money, like the government's money, is you might not be getting the best deal, right? Doesn't seem like they necessarily got the best deal
what you're saying.
for all this money for trees and landscaping.
Yeah.
And then you just wonder if in general, if it's ethical to spend this much money on your personal home, this much tax money on your personal home. So as a result, the state Treasury Department is questioning this spending. Spotlight PA obtained records last week that showed that officials in the Treasury Department are questioning whether state procurement rules allow public money to be used on construction of a privately owned property.
If they can prove that, does that mean all of these upgrades would have to be removed?
Oh, interesting. Or would Shapiro have to reimburse the state for the upgrades? His new autobiography is doing quite well, so he probably has some money in the bank account. But still, that's a lot of money to reimburse. Now, there's a wrinkle though with the Treasury Department looking into this, and that's the fact that the person who runs the Treasury Department is
Stacey Garrity,
right.
The Republican candidate for governor.
Right. So his opponent in the November election is inquiring about this spending, which now makes it a political issue.
Yeah.
And you wonder if this is Stacey Garrity, working on behalf of taxpayers here, or motivated by her ambitions to replace Shapiro at the governor's mansion.
That's a good question. But again, I do understand the fears that linger among his family.
Oh, no question
right?
about it. That's the other thing. This is clearly came from a traumatic experience.
Yeah, traumatizing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the other wrinkle to the whole situation. We are in an era when political violence has become increasingly commonplace. I mean, President Trump was nearly shot to death here in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So does that mean politicians can and should spend as much as they want to protect themselves? Is that okay?
So last year, Spotlight PA had reported that the governor said he consulted with the State Ethics Commission to ask that very question you just asked, Matt, and got assurance that there was nothing improper about it. But Spotlight PA found that he asked for guidance 2 months after security improvements at his Abington house had begun.
Yes, right. So that's questionable there. I mean, the justification, according to the state police, is that the Shapiros had to live in Abington while the state-owned governor's mansion was being restored after the fire.
Okay.
And that also the mansion required its own security enhancements. So, I mean, I'd be more inclined to understand this if there was an ongoing threat to Shapiro. If there was intel that an organized terror operation, for example, might be planning something against him, and maybe there are ongoing threats that the public's not aware of, understandably so. But as far as we know, Cody Bomber, his attacker last April, was a lone wolf. He had mental health problems. He wasn't necessarily reflective of a larger threat beyond the overall documented increase in political violence, as I mentioned, and also anti-Semitism. But there's a lot of gray in this story, I think.
Yeah, and he's also in a legal battle with his neighbors.
Yeah, this is at the Abington house, right?
The Abington house neighbors, because they are beefing over a fence.
Yeah, that was installed as part of these security improvements.
These neighbors are suing the governor.
And the governor's in turn countersuing them because they're saying the fence and
goes
the
onto their
landscaping
property.
encroaches onto their property. Right. So that's another element of this story. And I think we're going to hear more about that, particularly as the gubernatorial election gets closer this November. The last piece on this is Republican state senators have subpoenaed records on all of this from the Shapiro administration. So we might learn more that way. And I bet you're just going to hear Stacey Garrity, the treasurer and the Republican candidate for governor, talk about all of this on the campaign trail. Shapiro, of course, has a pretty good overarching response here, which is I was attacked and I have to protect my family. But you still wonder if there wasn't a cheaper way of doing that.
I'm just thinking, what would you do?
I mean, I'd want to protect my family at any cost.
But you got it. Yes, you would. You would protect your family at all costs. I don't think that that's debatable. What is just who is paying for it.
Exactly right.
What is the governor's salary?
The governor is actually the highest paid governor in the United States. He makes $284,000.
Whoa. He's
also got that book deal. Oh, the last thing I was going to say on this is that Shapiro, of course, is expected to try to run for president in 2028. So this could become a national issue soon enough.
Gotta get this cleaned up.
Yeah, if he wants to run, he better get this all settled now, right?
All right. Thanks, Matt, for chatting with me for this Monday news roundup that we're doing.
Thank you, Trenae.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode, share this with a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. And don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Philly neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.